is Karabo Ramookho, and we are taking over Mapalomaku / Women in Finances podcast space for the first time. We've got males, and I had to force her, by the way. So what do you do? Tell us about your business. What was the inspiration?
Sanibonani dumela, busheno kaofela. This is Refiloe Rantekoa, founder of the company called Borotho Bakery, located at White City, Jabavu. So I've been running this bakery from back 2016. So we started having, we were 3 in the team. So the team grew to 25 people. We started baking 20 loaves a day. We are currently producing 1,000 to 1,500 loaves a day.
Nice.
So when we started our business, we used to use the bicycles to deliver around and stuff. So we grew as far as having 2 vehicles that we run our business with.
Sure.
And then we are having 2 branches. And yeah.
You've got 2 branches.
Yeah, we have 2
You
branches.
didn't say that the last time. Were you playing it coy? We're only shiny so.
I didn't want to be deep as detailed.
Wait, no
Yeah,
more.
but we have 2
Okay.
branches that we're operating from like now. And then we start baking from 6 o'clock until the morning, and then we continue baking throughout the night and everything like that.
Nice.
Yes.
25 staff.
Yeah,
So you're
25 staff.
feeding 25 families.
Yeah, and
That is
then
respectable.
we impact more than 1,000 people of township. We know Soweto is dominated by negativity. There's crime, there's drugs usage and all those kind of things. So with the job that we'll do on everyday basis, we inspiring a lot of 1,000 people. We feed many people with the product that we produce. And then even our category of how we employ people, we are not really focusing much on who has what in terms of qualification, because of our intention as the township business is to clean the dirtiness and the negativity that is being drawn in black society in general. So that's the path that we took. So those are my intention with my business, except that yes, we need money like every other business, but part of what we do, we're trying to draw a white paint, or we're trying to bring a white picture into what we do in the township.
Nice.
So the people can draw inspiration from what we do.
Yeah.
And our intentions is to grow this business to as far as having a factory in the township and be able to provide thousands of love around the townships.
Nice. So
Yes.
neighboring townships as well.
Exactly. So Soweto has more than 2 million people. So as much as we're producing 1,500 loaves a day, it's not enough. So we are working on our strategy on everyday basis. Hence we have people who push a trolley on everyday basis to go street by street and selling this thing of ours. That's a traditional way of selling bread, because of the bakery is associated as a building standing there providing bread. But we have people who come every morning, 7 days a week. They take the bread, they put in the trolleys, then they drive around and distribute the bread around. And yeah, that's what we do.
That's really cool.
That's
Sure.
amazing.
So I almost feel like Refiloe's already gotten the cat out of the bag. That's his legacy. He wants to change, I guess, the narrative of Soweto and his people. And I think that's so powerful. That's really, really powerful. TK, Abutoko Pitor. So I've got
please.
someone originally from the other side.
And I don't like that place, eh?
It's okay.
I don't
it's
like
who you
being
are.
associated with that
You know,
place.
people from Pretoria listening.
I know.
Mara. Fast. Fix it.
No, I'm a Josie boy now.
Oh, okay. Sorry, people of Pretoria, on his behalf. So tell us about your business.
So my business is called Christopher Africa. It's a software development company. We started it. It went to market 4 years ago, and it's the shareholders are myself and the guys who's other media legends, like people who started Prime Media, Commuternet. That has really helped take us to market. So we're in 7 countries now. We employ 26 people. And we're growing.
Nice.
We white labeling it. Hopefully it goes. We're trying to take it global. And
You're in 7 countries, isn't it global?
yeah, but global.
Global.
Yeah, real
Like
global.
America.
Like dollars. Dollar global. Not nairas.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, and I mean, the intention with that, personally, I've never liked the narrative that Africa is viewed as the dark continent. And with Christopher launching this business, and we can even see it in the media industry, it's almost unbelievable that a South African locally developed software can be applied to global brands and be taken to other countries. So I guess the legacy is to say Africa can also do it. And
Africa is doing it.
Africa is actually doing
Africa
it,
is doing it.
And there's
yeah.
no difference anymore. You know, with globalization, I don't think there's a difference anymore. Borders don't mean much as much as they used to. So playing in that global field and following the steps of those who've done it. I think, you know, for me, Trevor Noah, Black Coffee, for me, those are inspirations because it's local guys who are playing on a global stage.
Nice.
And that's where we want to get to, you know, in our own field.
How did the pandemic affect you? Was there an impact, positive or negative?
It did, yeah. I mean, April was our worst month ever. We did take losses. Brands were panicking, you know, obviously, so marketing spends were pulled out. But we honestly, from July, we were back on track. Actually, July was our best month ever in history. I think it's because when things started opening up again, COVID actually placed a huge emphasis on digital and why spend must go to digital. Fortunately, we were already in that space. So we're getting a fair share, you know, of the marketing spend now.
That's good.
So it was bad initially, but it's good now.
Maybe that's why we finally finalize you as a vendor.
I think so.
Yeah, these processes though. And for you, Refiloe, COVID? So I'm asking because I already know, and I really like that story of how, as a baker, you innovated during COVID.
Yeah, it never really affected me directly, but part of it brought excitement into me because I had to think out of the box. So, Nike is strong, like when things are happening negatively, that's what I think.
Yeah.
You see, so that's how I've been running my business. Like I'm always under pressure. I have to do something.
Yes.
Particularly as a small business, you can't just relax and rely on the thing. So when there's something not stressing me, kind of thing. See, so it's about a lockdown, and then what are you gonna do? So we went as back as how we started the business, where we're using the shopping cart. So the way I run my business is so untraditional. So I always want things that excite the community and myself. Like when I always bring the energy. So even if you can go to my business now, there's always noise, people hyped because of that's the energy that we always try to bring into our business. So it doesn't look like it's a bakery from the outside because of we don't run it like a bakery business. We run it as a energetic business. So when it started this lockdown thing, I had to think out of the box. I had to think how can we position our brand into the township where we're operating. So it was a little bit easy for me. It was almost walking the park, kind of. Though we are affected there, and then we lost formal business from formal sectors that we operate with, particularly Baragwanath Hospital, because there's a division that we provide bread for. Okay. But we had to come back to the real people. Okay, sharp. I need to know will be pushing trolleys to your gate on everyday basis. So that traditional way of doing things, it went as far as being a traditional way of how they can consume bread from us. So we made it very convenient for the people because of obvious the government was saying there will no longer gonna be people roaming around and all those kind of things. So as a business is registered, we held all the formalities. So it was easy for us to access that market.
I like that. So I think I mentioned innovation, and maybe when I said that, some of you were like, did he create a new machine or whatever? Innovation is about providing responses to problems, human problems, everyday human problems that people go through. And when we did a webinar with Refiloe, and our team just fell in love with his story, and it resonates with all of us, because all of us, you either know somebody that started a business like Refiloe to respond to something, and now he's feeding a whole bunch of families. I think that's really cool. So I want to ask you both, if I had to ask you, how do you define legacy for yourself? Where would you start? I'll start with you, Refiloe.
Again.
Yeah. Thank you.
You see, there's this thing that
time to think.
There's this thing that we always practice, which generational wealth and all those kind of things. So sometimes we misinterpret it as business people. So according to my own version, this business has to change the status quo. It doesn't have to bring relief to my family or my friends, all those kind of things. So I'm fighting the battle that is much more deeper than I can think. So when you choose the mission into the business, you have to choose the mission that is much more bigger to the business itself. So now when I'm saying the status quo, So meaning our existence as Borotho Bakery, we want to bring hope and belief to the black society. You can do something that can change how people think of us. So whether it's whichever nation or whichever country, whatever the case it may be, but we taking that direction of we want to stand and exist for as many years as we can be. But we want people, when they see us, they must see something that started from the back room and is still standing there.
Yes.
So I sometimes imagine people maybe bahamba ngama-quantum abrando Borotho Bakery bayehla boma-bus station, Rea Vaya station and train station, going there and baking bread. So that's the legacy to me. So I want to see thousands of people going there baking bread for their community. So that's how I possess this legacy. I'm not into money kind of thing. Okay, fine, I want to have wealth, maybe that's not the direction that I'm taking. There are many black people who did well and they abandoned the problems or the township problems and they move out of the cars. They made it. So that's not the way of making it for me. I want to see that thing changing. The same lifestyle that we're chasing outside, we must be able to bring it in. I see business. We can create jobs here. We can create people who can run the economy here. So we can eliminate crime by employing those people who are associated with criminal or whatever the case it may be. So we bring you so we can provide your people. So those people will be the one taking care of this thing. Then that's how I define the legacy for my business.
I love it. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
That's
That's
deep,
so
eh?
inspiring.
I feel like I don't
I'm
want to ask
inspired
you anymore now.
I think we should both ask him questions.
That is so cool. That is, yeah, we can.
I think we must.
I actually call you a rogue entrepreneur because just the way you think, like when you said, I didn't go to school, but then you've got books that you are reading and challenging. That's really cool.
That's beautiful.
You also, when you dropped out of school. So that is, children go to school.
I dropped out of varsity.
Children go to school, yeah. He dropped out of varsity to start a business, which is now very successful. So, and for you, TK? What is legacy?
Wow. After that answer, I don't know what to even say. Look, I mean, for me, I think the message that as you grow up, especially in business, in the beginning, it starts off as just you being almost a capitalist. And I didn't start off like him. For me, it was just me being a capitalist, to be honest. Yeah. But as you grow in the business community, you realize that you're gaining influence. People are starting to know you, and you have to define a mission.
That's why you're here.
Yeah, you have to define a mission.
Yeah.
That mission for me is to be productive South Africans. Because for me, I think, an economy is always a reflection. What economy means for me, simply, is that it's a collection of a group of people and their level of productivity. That's it. That's what the economy is. So South Africa's economy is in bad shape because as a collective, we're not performing enough.
We're not productive.
Yeah, we're not productive enough as a collective. Yeah. So the message I'd like to stand for, the culture at Christopher that we stand for, because like him, all the people I hired don't have degrees. Some of them are from TVET colleges. I made an intentional decision that I'm not hiring people who have degrees and think, come with the arrogance of thinking they know. So I got people, one guy I hired who's a senior manager now, earning very well, like mid-management salary. 2 years ago, he was just a graduate from North College. Sure. Today, he's in Sandton with these guys who started Prime Media, and he's like a senior guy. And for me, that's inspiring because I can see how it changed his family, his household's life, how it's changing his life. So I think being productive South Africans is what I'd like to stand for and for our business to stand for.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. So I'm going to ask you a question whilst you are on that. Your future self, let's say, you are in your 20s. What does your future self look like?
Yeah, so... this is the first decade where we get to plan for a decade. Okay, so like 10 years ago, I was 16.
Yeah.
I'm 26 now. So probably...
10 years ago.
Yeah. So I was only effective probably the last 5 years of my life, of this past decade. Yeah. Those other 5 years, I was still young, not knowing what I'm doing. This time, I actually am planning for a decade. So, because I can. So when I'm 36, I want to be retired. Okay. So like living off interest so that I can focus on other important things. Like starting businesses not for the sake of money or capital or focusing on shareholder value, but starting projects that will make South Africans productive and add economic value. And I'll always speak about money because for me, it shouldn't be a bad thing. I think Black society, there's a stigma that no, you must be more than money. It's not. No, it is about the money.
If Mapalo was sitting here
And
with
it's
us,
okay.
he'd be like, "Amen."
Yeah, I'm with you. So it should be. South Africans must be productive.
Yeah.
They must make money.
Yeah.
And that's how we'll solve most of our problems.
Future Refiloe looks like how? Except for the factory. You yourself.
Now, there are a lot of things that I may not be happy with in our country in particular, but I always define myself as a leader. So there's a certain power that I need to acquire. There's a certain position that I need to... Actually, there's a certain role that I need to play in our country. So what I'm doing now, I gather all the power and the energy so I can charge myself to get as far as I can be able to lobby or influence the people how I may assume South Africa is going to be the better place as.
Yeah.
So what I'm doing with everyday job, I'm creating a lot of leaders from nothing with what I'm doing, with my experience in life. So I try by all means to influence the people who believe in what I'm doing. Then by so doing, it doesn't mean I'm perfect, but with the criticism that comes from the elders and whoever that guides me. So I want to be in a better shape so I can influence many people and lobby these many people that I'm grooming, particularly from makers. I'm a cheetah in particular. So I want to go as far as being able to be a strong person that if I can say something, the whole country can shake. Because I believe in me, because I have leadership skills that I think with certain things that I think or assume politically or economically, we can be in better position. Not necessarily from a businessy one. Business and politics is one thing. So that's the direction that I'm taking because I need to acquire enough power and charge myself every day. So that's why I need to stay away from negative things because I'll take the leader in me and South Africa may run out of leaders. So I want to be that leader one day.
Beautiful.
That is amazing. So this conversation is so exciting. We are going to prepare to go into part 2 now. So there we're going to start talking about, so they've got their ideas, they've got their legacy definitions, but what is it that they're doing now to help them prepare for that? And we're going to start talking Mapalo's favorite language, which is money. All right. Let's chat soon.